We're diving into how to fix common MySQL connection issues in Spring Boot applications. 1. First, verify your MySQL server is running. A simple check is to connect to it directly using a tool like MySQL Workbench or the command line client. If that fails, your problem is with your database server, not your Spring Boot code. 2. Double-check your Spring Boot application.properties or application.yml file. Ensure that your MySQL connection details, spring.datasource URL, spring.datasource.username, and spring.datasource.password are correct. A typo in the URL, especially the database name or port number, is a frequent culprit. Also, confirm the database actually exists on the server. 3. Make sure your MySQL connector JDriver is included in your project. This is crucial for Spring Boot to connect to MySQL. In your pom.xml, if you're using Maven, or build Gradle, if using Gradle, you should see a dependency for MySQL connector Java. If it's missing or has the wrong version, add it or update it accordingly. 4. Check your firewall settings. If you're running MySQL and your Spring Boot application on different machines, make sure your firewall allows connections on the MySQL port, typically 3306. This is often overlooked. 5. Examine your Spring Boot logs. They're invaluable for debugging. Look for exceptions related to connection issues. Common ones include a SQL exception, connection timeout, or access denied. These messages will pinpoint the specific problem. 6. Consider connection pooling. Spring Boot uses a connection pool by default, usually Hikari CP. However, ensure the pool configuration is appropriate. Problems might arise if the maximum pool size is too small, leading to insufficient connections, or if the connection timeout is too short. Configure these settings in your application properties if necessary. 7. If you're using a cloud-based database, ensure your Spring Boot application can access it. Check network configurations, security group rules, and any other access restrictions. Verify your credentials grant access to the right resources. 8. Restart your Spring Boot application. Sometimes, a simple restart resolves transient connection problems. If the problem persists, try restarting your MySQL server as well. 9. If none of the above works, use a tool like MySQL Workbench or a similar client to directly test the connection from your application server's machine. This helps rule out Spring Boot as the primary issue. 10. Finally, simplify your setup for debugging. Create a minimal Spring Boot application with only the MySQL connection to isolate the problem. This helps eliminate complexities introduced by other parts of your larger application.